Welcome back, everybody. This is something about Web3. I'm your host, Dan. I'm here with Kazuaki.
Hello, hello.
How's everyone doing this week? Another crazy week in crypto. It seems like every week now, there's so much happening that I, it's hard to remember just like how long ago was Terra? Like 2 weeks ago? It seems like last
Yeah,
year already.
I know.
It's hard to keep up with everything.
I know.
If this is the bear market, it's like I- things are still going wild. So I don't know. I I don't know what to think. Um, but we're still in it. We're still believers in Web3. I hope you are too. Um, I don't know. For some reason, I've been thinking lately like this is way more important than I thought it was before. Just Web3, blockchain in general. I've been reading a lot of science fiction lately, and if you ever read some science fiction that takes place over a long period of time, there's always like all these advances in technology within civilization, space elevators, and nuclear fusion, and harnessing the sun, and all this stuff. And I'm like, how come they never talk about blockchain? I feel like blockchain needs to be in
Yeah.
more science fiction stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Has there,
100%.
has there ever been a science fiction book that talked about something like blockchain? I'm trying to think. Maybe something. I don't know, maybe something a little bit older would have talked about something more economic and market based like that. Maybe
Hmm.
during the Cold War or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
If anyone has any recommendations for any kind of hyper capitalist science fiction, let me know. I'd love to check it out. How come there's no anime about blockchain?
Right. Right.
That's disappointing. Um, I will say I've been seeing a lot more Japanese artists and stuff take to blockchain. I know Foundation is like blowing up like crazy with Japanese artists lately.
Hmm.
You know that site Foundation?
Yeah.
Yeah, which I think is great. Um, and I even saw one of my favorite Japanese NFT artists, Onigiri Man, did a
Hmm.
collaboration with Goblin Town.
Oh wow.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
Did we talk about Goblin Town like last week?
We must have.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think we talked about it because I mentioned that
Yeah.
Twitter space where they were just making noises and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Goblin Town's still going strong. Uh,
Nice.
I was almost tempted to spend my optimism airdrop on a Goblin Town NFT, but I took another look at the art and I was like, I can't do it. Like the art
Yeah.
doesn't, I can't vibe with it. And for some reason, I can't buy an NFT if I don't like the art.
Mm.
I probably should though, because I have this problem with NFTs where I buy the NFT because I like the art and then I don't want to sell it because I like it too much, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I have sold very few NFTs. I just keep buying them. It's not good. It's not good.
Yeah.
I did buy NFT called Soccer Park recently and staked it on NFTX though.
Oh.
And my NFTX stake period ended because there's like a lockup period.
Yeah.
So now I own 1.1 Soccer Park tokens.
Hmm.
Um, so I could redeem it for one and then have zero point 0.1 left over, which is pretty cool. But someone bought the one that I put in the pool, so I don't have
Hmm.
it anymore. Sad. Uh, I'll have to find a one that I like and get it back. What can I say? I'm an art collector.
Yeah. Pretty much. Yeah.
Before I did NFTs though, I collected like real art. So, and I never expected to make any money back off of any art I bought in the real world,
Right. Right.
Like I would go to Design Festa and spend, $100 or $200 on a piece of art, but I just have it hanging in my house. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I never
Yeah.
thought like, oh, I'm gonna resell this someday. So,
Yeah.
so that's my attitude towards NFTs. It's NFTs is such a liquid market compared to the regular art world. It's really crazy to think about, you know. And I'm happy to support the artists. So I want more people out there to buy NFTs and never sell them. Just buy it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Someday I'll post a link. I set up one of those like virtual art galleries. So I'm gonna post a link.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, so this week, if you are a good person and you support open source via Gitcoin grants, which you all should, um, you probably received the Optimism airdrop. And I don't know, Kazuaki, do you want to give folks, if they're unaware, what is Optimism? What and what is the airdrop all about?
uh, to be honest, like I didn't really catch up, but optimism is for layer two solution for scalability for
Yeah.
Ethereum. And yeah, that's pretty much I know.
It's an optimistic roll-up tech,
Yeah,
right?
optimistic. Yep.
Yeah. And basically that means that it's and this is you're more the cryptographer than I am. So this is a very naive explanation, but it's at least my understanding that it's um not using, say, any advanced cryptography in terms of shielding or combining the transactions on a layer two, like some upcoming layer twos are ZK Sync
Mm-hmm.
2.0 and things like that, which I'm looking forward to a lot. But it basically uses a series of time locked bridges and pays for layer one security by combining transactions under a Merkle tree and committing those proofs to the main chain. Is that a terrible explanation, but a simple explanation of what optimism and optimistic rollups are?
No, that's a great explanation, I guess.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
That's at least my understanding of it.
yeah. No,
Um,
honestly, like I haven't really seriously take look into it. So, the,
yeah.
I think that you know like simplify what the optimistic roll-ups are.
Okay. Well, it's good enough for me, for my understanding. So hopefully, if you're actually interested in how it works, you can look into it yourself. But um, they're already paying like $200,000 a day worth of Ethereum in gas to secure the layer two, which is pretty impressive. But they are generating a lot of value in terms of DeFi, things like that. Obviously, Uniswap is already available on Optimism, along with a lot of other protocols. Um, and you still use Ethereum to pay for gas on Optimism, but it's much cheaper. And Optimism has been around for a little while. Actually, you could have already used Optimism, but they did airdrop their OP token
Hmm.
this week, which is a governance token.
Yeah.
Um, so it's kind of a big airdrop, maybe somewhat similar to Uniswap in terms of what they did with their token, airdrop token, governance token, Gitcoin. I don't know, many other groups. Gnosis is doing an airdrop token, governance token soon. So, um, kind of part of that new wave of not ICOs, but governance token airdrops. So if you donated to Gitcoin grants, that made you eligible. I don't know, Kazuaki, did you claim an airdrop for Optimism?
Yep, I did. I did it yesterday.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, nice, nice. But there was a lot of drama with the airdrop, and I've been anticipating the airdrop for a while now. I bridged over some funds um, using Hop Protocol, who's also doing an airdrop, by the way. Um, was able to claim my tokens, but I did sell the tokens and bridge them back to the main chain. I don't know if that will make me ineligible for future airdrops, but I'm fine with that. It doesn't really bother me one way or another. But I just don't have the interest at this point to participate in governance and things like that. And I wanted to buy some more NFTs. So so I sold for Ethereum, bridged it back. But another reason was I got to be honest. I was less than impressed with how they handled this airdrop. And there were some things about the airdrop that really made me feel uneasy about maybe the team, and things happen, whatever. No one's perfect, but the airdrop went very poorly. Um, and I could give a brief explanation of my experience because I was sitting at my computer trying to do the airdrop for kind of several hours as it launched. Um, I even went so far as to start trying to build some tooling to claim the airdrop myself without using their interface because their interface kept going down and things like that. But anyway, the interface went back up, so I just claimed through the normal route. But here's what my experience was, and here's why I felt kind of upset by it and uneasy. I logged on, I went to the Discord. Obviously, there's a lot of people talking about the airdrop, and a lot of people are asking, is it live? Is it not live? What's the address? Where's the contract? How can we claim it? Blah blah
Yeah.
blah. The At first, all of a sudden, everyone they had an eligibility checker, and the eligibility checker stopped working. So it started saying that everyone was ineligible for the airdrop, which
Hmm.
started upsetting people. They said, "I used to be eligible. Why am I not eligible now?" And the team in the Discord, obviously, these are not like the devs or whatever. These are just like community managers,
Right.
but they started giving
Right.
all explanations on what was happening. Um, Explanations that later turned out to be wrong. They were just making
Mm.
stuff up, right? I probably because the rest of the team wasn't available or whatever. Um, so then all of a sudden, the eligibility checker came back. Um, Started showing people's balances, and then you could go to the airdrop page, but then there were all kinds of problems. So the airdrop page kept going up and down. It would show just a blank space where the airdrop interface was supposed to be. What happened in reality was that their RPC, the public RPC for Optimism, went down because
Mm.
it wasn't ready to handle the traffic. And if you
Yeah.
look in the docs, they actually encourage people in their docs to like not use the public RPC
Yeah.
that and they said there are many public RPCs available. You can choose one. Here's a list of them. You can go get one from Alchemy. There's other providers that are providing them. But the problem is that people are used to this experience of when they go to use a network for the first time, people don't want to they don't want to add the network manually to MetaMask. Now MetaMask has a capability where in JavaScript, the DApp or whatever you're using can trigger adding a new network. And so people want to use that. And everyone was using that same snippet of code for Optimism, which was add the main Optimism RPC, the one that was going down at this time. So that was a big problem. So people were trying to switch RPCs and get create custom RPCs with Alchemy and things like that. And so that would work for some people, and it wasn't working for other people. And the staff on Discord was not being super helpful in terms of saying what the problem was. They didn't want to disclose, I think, or they didn't know that the RPC was down. So there's the first issue. Then people start posting like the contract address, saying, "Here's the contract," and you can see all these people are claiming already. And
Mm.
everyone's asking, how are they claiming and all this stuff. There was a proof that you needed to submit. Um, that you could get from an Optimism centralized backend server through their API. And so people started posting that and explaining, here's how you call the contract directly. You got to paste this in here, paste this over here. There were like people linking to Chinese language Twitter posts explaining how to do it because no one had written anything in English yet. Um, and the mods in the Discord are trying to tell people to just wait. But
Mm,
meanwhile, the secondary markets are already live because people are already able to claim, and so people are already setting up LPs on Uniswap and stuff.
yeah.
Now, Kazuaki, you found a Twitter thread from a Japanese user talking about kind of the market action at this time.
Yeah.
What was going on here?
Well, like he was pointing out that there might be Optimism Insider transactions
Hmm.
right after, well, actually before the airdrop. He was saying um the first official tweet from Optimism say like which actually they say like sup nerds. That was the
Yeah.
first us of the Optimism, and then
Yeah.
4 minutes after, there's the first airdrop transaction happened.
Okay.
Bef- so that was like before original airdrop announcements,
They haven't announced that the airdrop has happened yet.
right? Right.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then like after the first transaction happened, the claiming transaction happened. Um, like all the claiming transaction came through like every seconds, and
Yeah.
then the price went up, and then gradually all the LLP token price went down. So like by the time everyone noticed about the airdrop, and then
Yeah.
most of including myself, the price was already like $1 or something.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, at one point it was, I think, like $14.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but I mean, I don't know who set up that pool. You know, I, as
Yeah.
far as I know, the Optimism team said they didn't contribute any liquidity to the Uniswap pool.
Hmm.
At $14 price, that could have been someone getting 500 OP tokens and combining that with, one ETH or whatever, and
Yeah.
just bring up the pool, right? And
Hmm.
just there's some liquidity in there because whoever creates the pool gets to set the initial price, right?
Right, right, right.
So, so I mean, without seeing the volume, it's really hard to tell like how much value is actually
That's
transacted.
true.
At,
Yeah. Yeah.
the $14 price is not realistic. There's no liquidity.
Hmm.
So it's kind of meaningless, right?
Yeah.
Um, and then as far as I know, the OP team has not claimed any of their tokens. Their tokens, I think, are locked for a year,
Oh, okay. Cool.
according to their docs.
Yeah, yeah.
So, um, are there VCs and stuff involved? Probably. I don't know. Who
Yeah.
knows?
Yeah.
This person's saying there might be an insider. That
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily mean the team. It could mean a VC, could mean friends. Um, but to me, I
Hmm.
mean, I think the $14 price is like, I don't know. There's no volume, so who cares?
Hmm.
You know,
Right. And also like they did a really great job on the civil attack resistance.
that's true.
Yeah.
That is true. Um, so in terms of the Sybil attack resistance, they did hype up their community a lot in terms of finding Sybil attackers for the airdrop.
Hmm.
Sybil attacker meaning people who are just generating all these different addresses and meeting the minimum requirements so that they can get
Hmm.
a piece of the air. And they were saying, don't worry, all these mints are just Sibblers, and we're trying to figure out who they are, and we're going to catch them by doing this. And so that was one explanation from the team,
Hmm.
at least from the Discord moderators, on what was happening. That this was some sort of honeypot that they were catch Sibblers at the last minute, and so don't mint yet, or else you'll be caught as a Sybil attacker and all this stuff.
Yeah.
some real damage control from some Discord moderators who really didn't
Yeah.
know what else to say, you know. So I think that's
Hmm.
quite bad. Um, but anyway, over time, the airdrop page went up and down, but then it finally started working, and people were able to sell. But
Yep.
the thing that disturbed me the most was, they're going to be putting out a big retrospective on the incident, kind of an incident report style thing. Um, but they said during their testing, like the airdrop claim accidentally went live. But then why did they tweet sup nerds? Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They should
really,
they should have announced like some kind of like official
yeah. The
for
official announcement
communities.
happened for hours
Yeah, yeah.
after people were claiming. Um, but like as someone who's worked in software, like there's no need to ever accidentally put the site live. I mean, that's kind of a major screw up, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Major screw up. And then, of course, Ethereum being the dark forest that it is, if you put a contract live, people are going to see that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You can't just put a contract live and expect no one to find out.
Hmm.
Everyone's going to find out, no matter what it is. And so that's why usually with these type of things, airdrops, NFT drops, whatever, the contract is pausable, you know? And so
Yeah.
they deploy the contract, but it's in a paused state so that no one can interact with the contract in a meaningful way until
Hmm.
they unpause transaction and allow people to mint or claim airdrops or whatever. But the optimism token didn't have this. Like why? I mean, it's such a standard thing. It's a governance token.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you have a governance token be possible? We've seen what happened with other governance token attacks in the past. I think governance token attacks are like fairly well known, and pausing a governance token that's under attack via flash loan or whatever is like a very simple line of defense. Are they just decentralization maximalists? I don't think so, because if you understand how optimism works, it's somewhat centralized compared
Hmm.
to Ethereum, which is
Yeah.
like L2s in general are trading off some centralization, right?
Hmm.
So I don't understand that either. Why not have it be possible? Someone
Yeah.
surely mentioned that. So I'm looking forward to hearing the official. They haven't released, as far as I know, the official incident report
Hmm.
on the launch. So I guess we'll wait for that to give kind of our full feelings on it. But uh, considering all of that, considering kind of this miscommunication and misdirection, dare I say misinformation from the Discord moderators during the airdrop, it just kind of turned me off from optimism. And I've been thinking a lot lately about alt L1s and L2s, and I'm like, I don't know if you really need this is a controversial take, and I don't honestly I don't know how I feel about it, but do we really need L2s? Like what's wrong with alternate L1s?
It's true. Yeah.
Like if you're gonna sacrifice decentralization and stuff, like there's a lot of interesting alt L1 designs you can go with. Um, and with bridges and all this stuff, like just get your asset, whatever it is that you're interested in, or your just think of it as capital. Your USDC, your Tether, they're on every chain now. You know,
Yeah.
it's on every
Yeah.
chain, L2 or L1. So like, go over to AVAX, go over to Phantom, go over to Cosmos, Polkadot, whatever. Like, there's so many options out there. These rollups, is this overcomplicated? What is the point here? You know, as long as it's EVM compatible.
Yeah.
Um, and I'll just mention real quick ZK Sync coming out with the ZK EVM. I think that is something that is interesting because it's quite the it's not just a scaling solution at that point.
Hmm. Yeah.
Something new happening there. So I'm looking forward to that. But other than that, I mean, it's all healthy to have the competition in the marketplace. but for me, I don't really see the value proposition in optimism. I don't know. I mean, it's just another tool, but I don't think it's necessarily anything revolutionary. Um, and as I said before, the OP is just a governance token. Now, here's something interesting about the governance token, and then we can talk about other stuff. But one of the first governance votes, the discussions that's happening for OP is to use OP as a gas token.
Yeah, I saw that Twitter, and then Vitalik was pretty excited about that.
Oh, he is? He
Yeah,
supports
yeah,
that?
yeah, because he's kind of like anti-governance token.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah,
That's true. Governance tokens really haven't worked out yet. I don't think
yeah,
anyone could give an example of a successful governance token.
that's true.
And gas tokens are very much a thing. You
Hmm.
know,
Yeah,
I think the way Optimism is set up, they could easily switch over the validator network to use OP as the token.
yeah.
Um, gas tokens in general, this is something we should talk about in the future because
Hmm.
the use of gas tokens on like Binance Smart Chain is huge now, which
Mm.
is really cool. For MEV reasons and other things, people
Yeah.
use gas tokens. It's a lot easier
Hmm.
than using Ether. So, but anyway, obviously the holders, and I think the person who first proposed this in their governance discussion wasn't thinking technically, wasn't thinking Vitalik likes this. He's just
Hmm.
thinking, here's a good way to dump the OP bags. Let's switch
Yeah,
the gas from Ethereum to OP.
yeah.
I think it's great. I think it's great. And
Yeah,
here's
that's
a
right.
case of true governance because I have no doubt in my mind that if it gets to a vote, everyone's going to
Mhm.
vote yes
Yeah.
to use it as a gas token. And any delegate who votes against it, people are going to withdraw their support. So, so
Yeah.
honestly, I think they don't. The optimism team 100% does not want to do that because I think it will change probably in their legal team's mind
Oh
what the heck
yeah.
they're doing here because
Yeah,
the
yeah,
governance
yeah.
you're kind of changing it to an ICO at that point, you know. So
Right, right. It turned to the utility tokens, right?
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And Ethereum got away with it because they were the first to do it, you know.
Mm.
But they want exchange listings and things like that. I guess they're already on Coinbase and everything, the OP token. So,
Yeah.
um, but if you have a utility token, Coinbase and other groups probably do not. You need to
Mm.
pressure them a lot to be on their platform, because they're very afraid of getting in trouble.
Right.
And I'm sure there's a lot of stuff you need to do, set up business in New York City and all kinds of stuff in order to satisfy the exchange's requirements. So anyway, Optimism is out. Go give it a try if you haven't already. Um, but it was kind of a mess at first. So
Yeah.
that was my initial experience with it, which wasn't a super pleasant one, unfortunately. How did your airdrop claim go? Was it smooth?
It was a pretty smooth. Yeah.
Okay, good. Mine was not. Anyway, in lighter news, everyone's favorite meme song, Crypto Boy,
Oh yeah.
NFT, which I don't really understand because the song is kind of anti-crypto, but then somehow became a crypto Twitter anthem, kind of in the same way that the crypto land island project became a
Yeah.
meme.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts about this? What do you think of the song?
What song? Um, I'm not gonna say anything, but but
Remind me of
the way,
like Skater Boy. That's what it reminded me of,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. The way they like approach um to how to handle the music NFT is pretty interesting because like
That platform is quite cool.
yeah, like you can add like metadata for the NFT. I mean, like messages to the NFT, so like
Mhm.
you can see the message when you play the song, which is quite interesting. And also, uh, Sound.xyz platform is
Mhm.
also funded by a 16Z.
Of course.
Yeah. So yeah, I feel like this is a like new wave of the music NFT kind of. I mean, I'm really glad like they got like people's attentions. So
Yeah,
yeah,
raising like $150,000.
that's a quite a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Because as far as I know, is an unknown artist who was like a TikTok kind of
Hmm.
musician created this song. I think they had this person perform at the Gary V NFT conference
Hmm.
as well, which is
Yeah.
pretty. But it is somewhat of an anti-crypto song. Um,
Yeah.
but I saw so many people on crypto Twitter saying, "Oh, this slaps. This is great." Maybe I
Yeah.
just didn't get it. Is it supposed to be ironic? I didn't think it was. But crypto Twitter, I think, has this tendency where if someone does something anti-crypto, everyone on crypto Twitter just like swarms it with like affection and praise, and then that
Yeah.
that person who the anti-crypto whatever meme or something becomes pro-crypto
Right. Right.
because of the support from the community.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
like I saw a similar thing that happened with that artist who did the pixel art, saying like, "Oh, I'm gonna do an NFT. I can't afford health insurance, and I have so many fans on Twitter." But I only make like $10,000 a year, and then they sold their first NFT for like hundreds of thousands of dollars. Um, but they were like, "Don't hate me. Like, if you disagree with NFTs, I don't care." Blah blah blah. But I
Yeah.
think this person was like, I don't know if they were anti NFT, but they were very skeptical about NFTs
Hmm.
before they launched their first NFT. Um, and then obviously the community just like supported the hell out of this person. So you love to see that for sure. Is these independent
Mm.
artists getting supported? And crypto Twitter kind of has this chip on its shoulder where it says, "Oh, you're gonna like you know make fun of crypto or whatever as an outsider. Like we're gonna kill you with kindness and bid your project up to the moon and support it like crazy and create all these derivatives and memes and you're gonna feel the love and you're gonna become one of us." So I think that's always really funny.
Yep.
So good for crypto Twitter.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, check out that Sound XYZ page. I mean, it's quite cool. Music NFTs is something that hasn't really been brought into the mainstream yet, but I think eventually will happen. Kanye also, I don't know if you saw this, but there's some rumors about Kanye doing an NFT drop. He said publicly, he said some note that he's not, quote unquote, he's not doing a fucking NFT, but
Yeah.
also his legal team seemed to have gone around and done a bunch of trademarks for a Kanye West NFT series. So
Huh. Interesting.
yeah, yeah. So I honestly I don't know what's going on there. Um, but it's a good way to start off the marketing. So
Yeah. 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 Huh.
yeah, maybe on the negative side, there's been a lot of controversy around the stake.com crypto gambling site. Have you heard of this? Have you checked this out at all?
No. No. What's about it?
Stake.com is the ultimate evolution of Satoshi Dice, basically. Do you remember
Yeah.
Satoshi Dice? Satoshi Dice is probably still around. I don't know, but it was one of the very first like kind of Bitcoin dApps,
Uh-huh.
um, where you could play a very simple gambling game of dice using Bitcoin.
Mm.
Uh, people got addicted to it and things like that, but whatever. It's a dice game.
Yeah.
Stake.com supports all these different cryptocurrencies, and they have crazy slot machines. Like these slot machines have better graphics than the ones you see in Las Vegas. They got all kinds of crazy gambling. They have live gambling, blackjack, poker. with like a live dealer. And so all these Twitch streamers started streaming themselves playing these these games, and they're gambling millions of dollars. And so stake.com started sponsoring streamers um, to the tunes of millions of dollars a month because the site is making so much money.
Mm.
They even just did a live stream with Drake. Drake was playing roulette and I think some other games. And Drake, over the course of a stream of a couple hours, lost $10 million playing roulette.
Oh,
Um, but it's one of the most popular categories on Twitch right now. And so that's kind of a problem because Twitch has a very young fan base. And
yeah.
in general, culturally, people don't want to expose young kids to gambling, right?
Mm.
Gambling's kind of a sin, at least in Western culture. It's considered a bad thing. It's not considered necessarily evil, but it's one of those things like alcohol where
Right.
you could get addicted to it. Some type of people get addicted to it. It can ruin your life. Some people can do it responsibly, but it's just one of those things that can be very addictive. It can be very dangerous. And so you don't want to expose kids to things like that. Is it kind of
Yeah.
like that in Japan as well? Do people want to keep kids away from like pachinko parlors and stuff?
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's the same
Yeah,
thing.
same thing, right? So
Hmm.
so stake.com sponsoring all these Twitch streamers. Finally, a big Twitch streamer and YouTuber, this guy Ludwig, I think that's his name, came out with this kind of criticism video explaining what's going on. And the problem is, in my mind, that what gambling is whatever. I don't necessarily feel one way or the other. I've gambled. I've gone to Las Vegas. I've lost hundreds of dollars. Whatever. I don't really. It doesn't. I'm not really addicted to it. Like it doesn't. I don't really have whatever that genetic predisposition is. But it's people are associating it with crypto, and they're saying that this is just another example of crypto supporting something evil. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People are already criticizing crypto a lot for NFTs and things like crypto land and whatever others. People are running scams constantly, right?
Hmm.
Um, and all kinds of scam coins and NFTs and rug pulls. And so this is just another thing for people who are outside of crypto to criticize crypto as a whole for is that it's encouraging young children to gamble. Great, right?
Yeah.
Crypto, I don't think in the past has had it's had a lot of criticisms, but no one's really saying that it's ruining the lives of children. But now you could legitimately say that crypto is
Yeah.
contributing to the downfall of society
Whoa.
and causing kids to want to gamble. If you haven't checked out these streams though, you have to check them out because they are pretty funny. Because you watch these guys lose
Okay. Yeah.
$1 and like get all depressed. And then I saw one where this guy was like, he hit like he's just playing slot machine and he hit for $2 million in one pull, right?
Wow.
$2 million. And so he's all excited. He's screaming, he's yelling, he's so happy. And so his friend who's with him on Discord asks, "All right, how much are you up now?" He says, "No, I'm still down millions of dollars." Just
Whoa.
even though he hit the $2 million,
Whoa.
he had already lost like $4 million that day.
That's
Crazy, right?
crazy.
Well, you can set it up on here so that you're spending for each pull of the slot machine, you're spending $2,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you imagine if each pachinko ball was worth $1,000? I mean, that's what they're doing on these sites because you could spend as much as you want because it's all crypto.
Right. Right.
Do they have that in Japan? Do they have high roller pachinko where each ball is worth 100 yen or a
I
thousand
haven't seen
yen?
that any kind of stuff. Yeah.
No. Well, how much is it normally? It's like 2 yen, right?
2 yen. Yeah.
Yeah, that's enough for most people.
Hmm.
I saw this. This is unrelated. I don't know if you saw this. I saw this like Japanese meme going around on Twitter of this guy who walks out of a pachinko parlor, drops to his knees, screams, takes his glasses off and smashes them on the ground and screams again, and then someone puts some anime music over the background of the video. Did you see this?
No.
It's pretty funny. I felt bad for the guy, but all the people are like going in and out of the pachinko parlor, just trying to like walk around him while he's like
Wow.
on his knees, like screaming into the sky. Poor guy.
Yeah.
Do you like
Um,
pachinko?
no, actually, I never done that before.
You've never done it?
I never done that.
We should go do it. I've done it. You've never done it? That's
You've done
crazy.
it?
I've done it. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I can't stand the surroundings. Like, like
Oh, it's
all
very
kinds of
loud.
crazy noise.
It's so loud.
Yeah.
Maybe
I
that's
mean,
why the
like,
older people like it because they can't hear it.
right, right. And also,
It's
like, I
crazy loud.
heard, I heard, like, the who runs pachinko did it on purpose because like that makes shut down like outside of the world, outside of the store completely, and then like
Yeah, it's kind of
focus on the
hypnotizing,
pachinko.
the noise.
Yeah,
It's fun though. Fun.
yeah.
I don't understand why like people who do it every day or anything. I mean, I guess you're just really addicted to gambling. But
Yeah, yeah.
for me, part of the fun of gambling is drinking. And
Oh
you
yeah,
don't drink at the pachinko place, right? So,
right.
but Vegas and stuff like that, you get hammered
Yeah.
because they just keep bringing you drinks for free.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But anyway, but yeah, Pachinko's fun, and you really can't lose that much money. You know,
Right. That's true. Yeah.
I don't think it would be pretty tough for you to lose more than $1,000 playing Pachinko. I
Mm.
think
Yeah.
because once you hit a little jackpot or whatever, it takes like 10 minutes for all the animations and cartoons to play and stuff.
Mm.
Well, we'll have to go sometime. We'll have to go.
Yeah. Yeah. We gotta go.
It is fun. We'll have to find like a goofy place. Maybe
Mhm.
they're getting quieter now. Now that they've banned smoking in the pachinko
Right.
parlor like
Right.
that.
Yeah.
Maybe it's getting a little bit more chilled out. Also I heard that a lot of pachinko parlors are owned by North Korea. Is that true?
That's true. That's true.
Wow. Maybe we'll
North
see
Korea or
Rob
like,
there.
second generation North Korean in Japan.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy. But
Yeah.
Japanese people still go. So
To
I guess
go, yeah.
yeah. Um, Speaking of scams, there was a U.S. I think Congressman Madison Cawthorn who he's been investigated for a lot of things lately. People people really do not like this guy.
Really?
He's a really young guy,
Yeah.
and he's a far right guy. Um, but whatever. Politics aside, he's been, I guess, investigated for his involvement in the Let's Go Brandon coin. Now, Kazuaki, you're a Japanese guy. You live in Japan.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with what the whole Let's Go Brandon thing is all about?
No, not really, but I saw the LGB talking and then like I didn't get the whole context, but
It's so stupid. There was a newscast happening in America, and
Mhm.
it was at a NASCAR rally, I think.
Yeah.
And there's this NASCAR driver. His name is Brandon.
Hmm.
And while they're doing the newscast, the people in the crowd are chanting, "Fuck Joe Biden."
Yeah.
They don't like Joe Biden as
Yeah.
president. And the person who's doing the newscast, you can hear it on the newscast. You can hear everyone screaming.
Mm.
And the person on the newscast says, "Wow, listen to that chant. They're all saying, 'Let's go Brandon,' to support this NASCAR driver," right? They weren't saying "Let's go Brandon." They were saying "Fuck Joe Biden." So
Yeah.
now people will say "Let's go Brandon," and that means "Fuck Joe Biden." Okay,
Yeah.
so that's the
Yeah.
idea of this token. So now a U.S. congressman is involved in this token that's essentially called the "Fuck Joe Biden" token, right? Who's the president? So it's really stupid. It's really crazy.
Yeah.
Uh, Well, obviously, this Let's Go Brandon token is some sort of rug pull and scam. When it became valueless. This guy has some very suspicious trades in terms of timing, being an
Mm,
insider and whatever. So stupid. I don't understand why we should just act like every other congressman and do insider trading on the stock market. Doing it in
yeah.
crypto is stupid because you could trace it all. Every other person in U.S. politics just does the stock.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, usually a congressman in the U.S. will make, I don't know, $150,000 a year. Of course, they're all worth, tens of millions of dollars
Hmm.
from their stock trading. I guess they're all really good stock traders, right? I mean, that's very lucky that they all do so well in the stock
Yeah.
market. But I'm sure it has nothing to do with any kind of inside information they have. But yeah, this guy, I mean, crypto is not a good place to do insider trading because you could trace it. I don't know if you saw it. This is somewhat related. The OpenSea guy got investigated in the U.S. by the FBI
Right, right, right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
doing
saw that.
insider trading on NFTs that he knew were about to be featured on the front page of OpenSea. So, um, but it was easy to trace because he just used his own wallet and things like that. And
Hmm.
um, I guess is arrested now by the FBI for allegedly doing this. I'll say allegedly. I don't know the full details, but so stupid. People, I mean, this really goes to show as these things start to pile up, congressional investigation, FBI, um, it's harder to do fraud in crypto than it is to do outside of crypto in the traditional
Hmm.
banking system.
Yeah.
It's actually harder to do. And people always talk about, oh, there's so much fraud in crypto and whatever. It's traceable. You could go back and look. And the reality, I think, of the situation is that the government agencies that are charged with protecting people from fraud, they're not ready to be doing things on the blockchain. They need more training, they need more education. Um, and they need to have better direction from their oversight agencies and their funders and Congress and everything to target this stuff. But it's actually easier to target than traditional Ponzi schemes. So anyway, here's my rant about that. I hate it when people say, "Oh, all that ever happens on crypto is fraud." It's like all that ever happens in the world is fraud.
Oh
In
yeah.
crypto, it's actually easier to deal with.
Hmm.
And speaking of fraud, remote work, is it a fraud, or are the companies that can't support it frauds? That's my um, Elon Musk came out with a memo this week for all Tesla employees. You've got to be in the office 40 hours a week. The factory workers are there. Why aren't you there? No more remote work. And so that's got people talking. What do you think about this?
Um, I mean, it really depends on like what product are you working on. Like
Hmm.
for us, like a software engineer, we can
Yeah.
totally do remote work. But let's say like hardware workers, like cars or rocket science and all kinds of
Yeah.
stuff. Like you can't really do remote work at all. Somebody gotta has to be at the factory, right?
That's true.
But
But
it
in a
doesn't
lot of ways, I
necessarily
mean,
be like
software
everyone.
isn't everyone kind of a software engineer now? Aren't the scientists also software engineers? Aren't the
Right,
factory
right.
also software
Hmm.
engineers? I mean, the robot's putting the car together, right?
Oh yeah. So like it doesn't necessarily be everyone has to be at the office.
Yeah. Me personally, I feel because most people's jobs now are related to software or computing in some way.
Hmm.
Um, if a company disallows remote work,
Yeah.
one of two things are happening. One is the workers aren't trained to do remote work, and I think doing remote work is a special skill that you need to have.
Hmm.
And some people are naturally good at it, and some people aren't. And those people, I think, need training and education because it's not easy.
Yeah.
Uh, the other thing is that the company has hired a lot of bullshit people who don't know what they're doing and are just pretending to work. And
Right.
obviously, pretending to work is a lot easier to do in a remote setting. And you don't have effective managers, and you don't have effective processes to manage your people and monitor output. And it sounds to me like maybe that's what's happening at Tesla, that they just don't know what's happening.
Right.
Or
Right.
Yahoo used to be a massive company, and they had a lot of remote workers.
Mm.
And I think a lot of those remote workers weren't actually working. And that was when Yahoo was worth billions of dollars. So anyway, remote work, I'm hugely in favor of it. I think if your company can't support it, you either got to be like baking donuts, like there has to be some reason why you can't be doing remote, or you just don't have
Yeah.
the right workforce in place. So you need to figure that part
Yeah.
out. Also, companies often are putting in huge amounts of money in terms of commercial real estate, and so
Mhm.
that the value of that is going down if people are remote working, and so
Right.
kind of in some companies' best interest that own a lot of real estate to get people back in the offices,
Hmm.
and so there's some perverse incentives there. But I don't know. I mean, I've been a remote worker for a long time, actually. Like, kind of before it was trendy, I did remote work um, for many companies. I hired
Hmm.
many remote workers.
Yeah.
Um, so I've been doing it for a long time, and I'm very much used to it, and I understand like kind of the difference there, and so I'm very much in favor of it. But I have seen situations where I had to fire people because they were pretending to work. It does happen. It
Mm.
does happen.
Yeah.
Japan's definitely a place where remote work is a new thing, to say the least. Obviously, the
Definitely. Yeah.
pandemic accelerated that. What do you think the response will be in Japan? I see a lot of companies are asking people to go back to the office here.
It's true. Yeah. And also, like, a lot of people hate going back to the office,
Oh,
which is
really?
kind because, like, like how Japanese people do meeting with the company, right?
Right.
And like, most of the time, like you gotta listen to what your boss is saying, and
Yeah.
like yelling at the employee is a part of the boss's job, and then like like since that changed after the COVID, and then like a lot of people are really happy about working from home.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And no more no guy.
no more nomikai at all.
Yeah.
So like
Which is
like seems like a
the
lot of
famous
people.
drinking after work with your boss, right?
Yeah, yeah. So it seems like a lot of people having a really good like work-life balance after people moving to remote work.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah. Well, hopefully, I'm in favor of it. I think it's gonna be a big differentiator in the future in terms of being able to
yeah,
um, hire
yeah,
people for
for
cheaper. It's a
sure.
big perk. So, and people who are good employees, good workers, smart people, they do well in remote work, and people
Hmm.
who aren't tend to do bad. So it's just going to be a big advantage for the companies that support it. And I'm sad to see Elon come out against it,
I know,
but whatever.
right?
He also could be interesting. So who knows?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like I saw on Twitter someone say like, "What's the point of like going back to the office?" And like someone replied to this thread say like, "Oh, he can't have an affair within the company if you work from home."
Yeah,
That was kind of funny.
yeah.
And I think a lot of Japanese like executives feel that kind of way too. Like they
Mm,
they want to have an affair within the company.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, what are you gonna do? I'm not
Yeah,
going back. I'm
me
not going
neither.
back.
Me neither.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right, folks.
I'm an information guy.
That's right.
Yeah,
We're digital natives.
yeah.
We're infused with network spirituality. We're like serial experiments lane, connected directly, interfacing divinely, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right, folks. Well, this has been another episode about something about Web3. Let us know what you think. Send us a message on Twitter or something. but we don't have a show Twitter. You just have to DM us directly.
Yep.
Um, Twitter is in the show notes, as always, in the description of this, wherever you're listening to this on YouTube or whatever. You should check the YouTube comments. I don't know if anyone's commenting. Yeah, we're on YouTube, we're on Spotify, we're on Apple, we're on Google, we're on Plorple. I don't know what that is, but we're probably on it. We're on everything. So thank you for support, thank you for listening. And we'll see you next week. Hopefully the markets don't explode before then, but if they do, it'll be an interesting episode. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye bye.